We sat down today with biokineticist, and she's going to kill me when I say this, South African powerlifting legend, Giulia Muto. Giulia kindly gave of her time and came through to the studio to chat to us during her busy day and on a deadlift day. We spoke about what powerlifting means to her, what it's been like for lifting for nearly a decade and representing South Africa at multiple championships, why her Barbell Bullies family and team are more important to her than winning gold, and what she loves about competition. We also touched on her career as a bio and the different areas in which she specializes. Giulia speaks with passion and love for the sport and the community, and this is definitely one that you'll want to listen to. Plus, we also answer the very important question, what do you call a male ladybug? Well, to get the answer to that, you're going to have to stay and listen to the end of the interview. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions, the powerlifting edition.
Jules, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Cool. Also, I should say ciao, come stai?
Yeah.
Tutto bene, bene, grazie.
Yeah.
Okay. See, andiamo. No.
Yeah, let's not go too far.
Yeah, English.
I'm one of those Italians.
Okay. Oi.
Super proud, but can't really speak it.
That's okay. It's like me and my Hebrew, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like no brew. So, how are you feeling?
In general, I'm very good, thank you.
Excellent. I mean, well, and
Yeah.
being here on the podcast now.
A little bit nervous, but generally fine.
Today's podcast
Okay,
is brought
start
to you
again.
by. Yeah. So we got to go like this. You clap and watch the audio level. And go spike, and then we can. I can leave that in. So, but it's funny. So here's a good. How's this for a segue? Competition shirts. So I had some made because everyone was nagging at me because I
In your
never
team?
saw anyone from us
Yes.
in our comp shirts.
Yes, I think that's valid. I would also nag at you if I was on your team.
Yes. So we had some shirts done.
And now they just arrived.
Yeah.
2 weeks after the comp.
Yeah. No, we
Don't
got
you hate
them.
it when that happens?
We got them before the comp, but they were all like 4 centimeters to the left with the logo, all of them.
Wow,
So I'm
yeah.
intrigued to see how they've fixed them. Anyway, yeah. Cool.
Hopefully not 5 centimeters to the right now.
No. Oh, yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to say it's art.
Yes.
It's art.
Abstract.
It's abstract. It's
Yeah.
art. It's creativity.
And also, we don't have to be perfect. Right?
Really? How's that working for you?
Well, my shirts are slap bang in the middle, so we
Okay,
can
that's
always refer
perfect. Yeah,
you
yeah,
to like
absolutely, huh?
we can refer you to like a better printer, maybe.
And okay, we'll chat about that afterwards. But that's a very nice spine.
It's actually a rib cage.
Is that not a spine?
That's a spine, but
Yeah.
then there is a bit of a
the
rib
rib-
cage.
Oh, it's
yeah,
from the back. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
yeah.
Sure. All right. That right there is what. Had a client of mine now moaning about his pain in his shoulder. So he's had lots of ops and stuff over the years. I was like, I can take a screenshot and send it to your wife to show her where to elbow when you get home. He's like, no, it's fine. So, yeah.
It's like pushing a button.
Yes, exactly. Like you want to find that nerve plexus and just
Yes,
work it.
exactly.
Yeah. Your invoices are 4 weeks behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Jules.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Welcome.
go. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. Thank you for agreeing because it did take a bit of time.
It took a bit of time. Not intentionally, but life is busy.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
So Nick had to corner me at Champs and be like, you will come
Yes.
this day. And here we are.
Absolutely corner you. It was literally.
It was
came
literally.
with a big board, right in the corner. Are you coming to Champs? I mean, to the podcast from Champs. Yes. So give us a little bit of a rundown. Who are you? How's that for a horrible question?
Yeah, that is a
Okay,
horrible question.
Let's chat about your powerlifting. How long ago did you start?
So I started powerlifting, I think it was 2014 or 2015. It was 2014.
14,
Yeah. End of 2013, I did Rodney's Fun 7 lift. That was my first comp.
Okay.
I think we could say I just fell into it. I never wanted to do powerlifting or compete. I didn't think about it.
Right.
And I worked in a private gym in Rivonia with Henk and Laura, who are my coaches. And they were literally just taking all their clients end of year to do the comp. So they were like, well, why don't you come? So I was like, well,
If you want to go across to the Mug and Bean and get a muffin, you have to come
Yeah.
to this comp.
And that's actually what we always used to do. I think
Yeah.
that's probably what got me there. Is like we
Yeah.
would go away in and then go to the Mug and Bean
Yep.
and then have breakfast and then go
come
back.
Yeah,
Those are the
that's
good
it.
old days, eh?
Yeah, those are the good old days.
Yeah.
How
It was
the-
like a reward for making your way in.
Wait, yeah, you got to go to the Mug and Bean.
Yeah, and then you go to the Mug and Bean and every lifter that's doing the comp is like waiting for their coffee, like,
At the
we
Mug
need to
and
start warming up.
Yeah. Can we delay by 30 minutes?
Yeah. But yeah, I did the fun comp, and then I actually qualified for essays on the 7 lift, and then Henk was like, wow, maybe you should stay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it just actually became a really cool team vibe for me, more than like the actual lifting part. So we worked together. We would like work until like 10 and then all train together. So it was just like a nice vibe.
Right.
And then, yeah, I had like, at that time it was a lot smaller, the sport. So
Sure.
I suppose it was, I don't want to say it was easier. I suppose there was less competition, but you still had to make the standards.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But I think it was like the comps were quicker. They were on 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, and
You know,
there was more of a team element because you could
Yes.
literally be there for the whole team.
Yeah.
Everyone
Like
could
one
stay for the
session,
2
you could have done
days.
sessions per
We
team.
would be helping in the warm up. You
Yeah.
could do that sort of stuff back then. So yeah, it was just fun. And then I made the world's team in 2015. So I went to Finland. And then there's just been like little like mini goals for me when I look at the calendar. So that's basically how it has been for me.
Okay.
I wanted to do one of each, Commonwealth, Worlds, and All Africas, and then I did that. And then that for me was like, cool, I'm happy to be done.
Right.
And then Henk was a bit like, no, I don't think you are.
Yeah.
And
You
then
may
every
you
time
may
I'm like,
think
maybe
you
this will
are,
be
but-
my last one. And then, yeah, I think it's such a good routine. It keeps you sort of motivated and stimulated and also very humbled because,
Yeah.
you know, powerlifting is very much a mental game.
It's completely
Yeah.
mental, huh?
Yeah.
It's such an interesting thing. You look at like soccer, 90 minutes, or rugby, 80 minutes, or boxing, or a lot of the other sports that people like to do. You've got a lot of time to rectify any errors.
Yeah.
Within powerlifting, you've got that 1 minute on the platform and whatever that half a second. I think they did a test. It works out at 1/1000th of a millisecond.
Yeah.
That's how long the squat takes, but
Yeah.
it feels longer.
Yeah.
So,
It feels very long.
It feels very long.
And that's
But like,
what I always say to
your
the new
mind
lifters is like, actually like take your breath. Because
Yeah.
people say squat and they just drop. And that's how you can always tell when there's like a new lifter.
Yeah.
Like a minute is actually very long.
Yeah.
You know?
Take your time.
Take your
It's
time.
not a billionth
take a
of a
breath.
millisecond.
Do
Yeah.
the thing. So yeah, that's
That's-
basically my story in powerlifting.
No, and like it's a very special sport, and what I love is because I mean you've done very, very well in your career. So can we chat a bit about that?
My actual career or my powerlifting?
Your powerlifting career.
Oh, my powerlifting
And
career.
then we can talk about your career
I'm
as
like,
well.
you need to be more specific. What is the actual question?
So tell her, what have you won?
Oh, okay. So I went to Worlds in 2015, I think it was. And then I did All Africas, and that year I won All Africas, I think. That was like quite a special one because I got best lifter of the comp, which I've like never gotten, and that was like super cool.
Yeah. And that's an international.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which is epic.
It was the year, like it was at the same time as Arnold's.
Yes.
So they had it together, that one. And it was also a really cool comp because I had like a mental block at a 130 deadlift. I think it was 130 or 132. And like I got the deadlift, and then, you know, it was like
It
achieving
opens
the
up everything.
goals
Yeah.
all together.
That can be more important than winning.
Yes. And for me it often is, because I think if I win, but there's no one else in the division, or if I win and my numbers are like, it's not really my best and I knew I could have done better, like it doesn't feel the same. And then the year after that, 2017, I think was like my year, so to speak, because I did Commonwealth.
Yep.
And I won Commonwealth.
That was Canada?
No, that was here.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
in Poch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like my strategy, because we are not funded, is I try and make all the SA teams that are actually here.
Yeah.
Because it's just easier to like fund it, basically. Also
It's a big expense.
yeah,
to
and
travel.
time off work and
Yeah.
travel and whatever. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do those specific 3. I went to Finland for Worlds, but then All Africa's was in Santon, and then Commonwealth was in Potch, so I managed to do those. And then that was, I won Commonwealth, which was really amazing. In the 47 division. I was a lot younger then. Yeah. But basically what was really cool about that comp is that I literally for 6 months just focused. I think work wasn't as busy, and I was younger, so I had the time. So from a nutrition perspective, made sure I got my sleep, made sure my training was done. And I think it was such an amazing lesson to me about how amazing our bodies are. If you literally put the right fuel in, and you literally behave as an actual athlete, you know. I did my recovery. I went to
adult.
Athlete. Because often we just push and push and push, but actually you have to show restraint. You have to eat the right things. You have to make sure you get your sleep. And also recovery. I went for chiro, and I had massages every week. So by the time I went there, I was like a machine.
Yeah.
And then it's a different mental thing, because I'm you've literally done everything. You couldn't have done anything better. So now
no excuses.
If you walk on there and you stuff it up, there's no one to blame. So that's a whole nother mental aspect of the comp day.
So I think that's, I'm just checking that I've put everything on to do not disturb. Good, done, sorry. It's such a valid point, because this is so mental.
Yeah. And I think that's what works, what I enjoy about it, because it's always an opportunity for mental growth. If you put effort into it.
I think on that point, and a difficult question, but if you'd like to answer it.
Okay. No. I'm joking.
Let me look at the camera going. How has powerlifting helped you in terms of how you feel about yourself and what you believe you're capable of?
Well, I think it's definitely helped my confidence a lot. I think I was very shy originally. So, and I always say this to Henk, in our first gym, I'd always squat facing the wall. We had 3 racks, and I'd always be no, I have to be in that one. And then I'm also quite particular, which used to drive him mad. He's at the comp, you can't choose what rack. So if that's the only one that's available. So I really, that first essay is my worst nightmare was to walk onto that stage and have everyone staring at me. So that
in a singlet.
In a singlet.
You do feel very exposed.
Yeah, and back then they were that first essays I did, they were lights. I remember,
Yes.
I specifically remember, I think it was actually on the stage, and they
was
were
on the stage
lights.
and the lights were
And
there,
I was this is literally my worst nightmare. And everyone's watching you. So from that perspective, that was actually the biggest thing, in my opinion, that I've actually had to overcome. The weight and stuff is, performance and that sort of thing. But for me to actually go out and not literally see faces and hear noises and be actually be able to zone out, I think is something that I've had to work on. And then obviously having that confidence to do that has sort of followed on into other areas.
Right.
Ironically, that was easier than going to a weightlifting comp, because in a powerlifting comp there used to be lots of music and lots of crazy.
Yeah.
And then,
sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
I just threw that in there, guys. But when you go to a weightlifting comp, it's dead quiet. So it's the complete opposite.
Okay.
So I did powerlifting for 5 or 6, 7 years, and then eventually went to a weightlifting comp, and they don't give you a start command. So you literally walk out into silence and you just do the thing, and then they say down and you leave. So it was quite funny for me that I had that same experience of okay, now I have to train myself to be sort of comfortable in this environment, because it's completely different to this environment. And the things that I use there, listening to the music and sort of focusing on other things, I can't do here. So I think that's a huge one. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, it did, absolutely.
Yeah. And also I never wanted to be a world champion or a record breaker, or it's I laugh. It's it feels ridiculous to say.
Yeah.
So I think what's amazing about strength training and weightlifting is literally what you put in, you get out.
Yeah.
So in say the past 2 years where I focus more on work, I've managed to maintain my strength, but I haven't really progressed or done anything amazing. But literally, like, what you put in, you get out. And that is like the essence of life, actually.
Yeah.
Like, what you put in, you get out. So I think that's an amazing lesson that we learn.
It's a great, safe place to test yourself as well.
Yeah.
And I think...
And a good community, because I think, like, generally, everyone wants you to do well.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, like, what I always say to people is, like, whether your max is 100 or your max is 150, it's still your max. So it actually doesn't, the numbers actually don't matter. And it's just a different experience of what you're fighting for, if that makes sense.
100%. And that's such a challenge for coaches with new lifters.
Yeah.
Because they all go, I'll compete when I can win.
Yes.
It's like, no,
it's like literally my worst
get on
thing.
the platform,
Yeah.
you know, and get it done.
And like the truth is, when you win, like, then what happens? You still go into Woolworths and stand in the queue like everyone else.
Yes.
No one cares. It doesn't actually fulfill you in that way, unless there's like you enjoyed the journey, or you know, it's always about the journey, I think.
I think the photos after the comp with your team in front of the banners are more fun and more meaningful than standing on the podium.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
so, like, those, I mean, the first thing we spoke about was the memories of, like, going to the Mug and Bean after weigh-in at Saints or whatever. And we always used to, like, in those initial comps, go for, like, dinner the night before.
Yeah.
Like, those things for me
so
were
they
the
could watch
absolute...
you not eat when you had to make weight.
Literally.
Yes.
Literally. And then you go, like, the night after, because in
Yeah.
Potch, like, we always used to go to Spur. Then you go the night after, then you can have, like, your burger. But those things were, like, you know, it's a team vibe. It's just a very supportive environment, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after we were speaking about Potch with Commonwealth, what came after Commonwealth? I mean, and
what came after Commonwealth? So I've pretty much done essays every year. And then I didn't do much international stuff for a while after that. And then obviously it was COVID. And then I did, the last Worlds I did was the one in Sun City, which was 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2021. And then this year I'd like to do Commonwealth. So that's kind of what I'm going to start training for.
So it's kind of, we've got Commonwealth, we've got Masters, we've got Asia, Africa, Pacific.
Yeah.
And we've got Africa.
So like never
Champs.
heard of in my life.
Like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Asia, Africa, Pacific Champs, we had the first ones last year in Potch, in Hong Kong. Very similar Potch in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't actually realize what that was in Hong Kong.
Yeah. So that
you know what the problem is? There's all these amazing opportunities, but it is quite pricey because they do charge us in euros. So whether it's in Potch or it's in Sun City, there's always like quite a, you have to choose wisely and make a decision, you know.
And I think particularly you spoke about being off work and that time and that cost. You know, you can look at 50, 80, 100,000 Rand for a comp.
Yeah.
To take off and to do, and I think that's the big struggle.
And like our divisions, the lighter goals, pros and cons, because you're always first in the morning, which is amazing if you're trying to make weight.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait till like 5 o'clock to stand on a scale.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we always like Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, so it's not like it's not a convenient from a work perspective.
Would be interesting to see. Maybe let's chat to Hani, see if they can switch it up.
It would be so funny.
Hey? Like have the heavy guys on the Wednesday.
On the Wednesday.
You know? I
think there would be uproar.
There would be, yes, but that's, you know, we're rebels.
Yes,
so that's the thing, 100%.
I mean, it would be fair.
Yeah.
That would be fair. The only thing is, I think there are more spectators for the more sort of like average weight divisions.
Yeah.
So we often don't have that much, like, we'll have like our teams and stuff there. But as you go into the weekend and there's like bigger divisions, I think that's when all the supporters come through.
The guys come through and want to watch because it's a lot of the bigger guys. Although, you know, I found with the girls were getting more support, I saw, at SAs this year. And I think that's one thing with the South African powerlifting community. It's the ladies that really represent. We've got a couple of strong guys. Yeah. But it's very much a girl power thing.
Well, I don't know if it's girl power, but I do think, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, like the girls kind of work harder.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot, like also in weightlifting.
You look straight at the camera when you say it. It's like the girls work harder.
I think that I think it's just different because I think men generally are physically stronger.
Yeah.
And I think they come in expecting to be physically stronger. Like a man can do like a push-up or a pull-up, like without having to train for it, where we can't do that. We can lunge for days, you know, where most men don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I think we have to like work harder for those little increments. And I think a lot of men come in more competitive with a bit of ego going like, I want to win. I'm not talking about every man, but a lot of them do in the beginning. And then when they don't, or when they like go to the comp and there's like insane standards, they get a bit more despondent and like, I mean, I don't know.
Come back.
Yeah, they don't come back.
Yeah.
We're like, I think the girls generally like have to work for just the first 2.5. Like literally the first time I benched, I couldn't even lift the bar.
Yeah.
So like I had to work to like lift 20. So to get to where I am now, it's literally been like 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, you know? And it's the same in the weightlifting gym. The girls have been there for years and years and years. And then there's a small amount of guys who have as well, but the men come and go.
Yeah.
But I think there was actually like a period of time where it was very much like a lot of people coming and going. We're like, now if you look, there are a huge bunch of guys that have actually been in for a long period of time. But I do think potentially they give up a little bit easier.
I think that's like...
it's just an ego thing, I think.
I think I saw with a lot of the sub-juniors and the juniors at this year's SAs chatting to the guys like, no, I'm done, I'm going to focus on rugby.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there are certain coaching environments that promote the love and the passion for the sport over just winning.
Yes.
And there are other coaching environments that promote just winning.
Yeah.
And if you're
and
coming in
I think
just
that's why it's nice to have a team, because you're going to fit in some way. So if you come in with a bit of an ego, there is going to be someone that's stronger than you.
Yeah.
But there is going to be someone that you can maybe be like a mentor to, or like...
Yeah.
So I think that's what's nice about having a team.
And that mentoring can keep you in and keep you engaged. And it is a great role. So let's chat about team. What does the team mean to you? So I think you probably, I mean, you know, I think Bullies was going before 1610. And you know, so it's probably the longest running team. I mean, Rodney had his athletes. Yeah. But it wasn't a huge team vibe in terms of what you guys brought.
I think it's like a different approach to...
Yeah, it's very much you focus, shut up and be quiet, and move the weight. You know, like, remember with Rod, it's like don't talk to anyone.
It's focus on what you're doing.
Why are you
Squat,
talking
bench,
to
or deadlift.
Why are you talking to the American?
Yeah.
You know, you know, it's like I spoke to the American coach Steve in Discam, and I told him, he's like, you don't speak to them. Like, because he's very much like from that school of everyone's playing mind games with you get the job done.
But the truth is, it depends on the athletes. Yeah. So like for me, I get more nervous if I have to literally like sit and face a corner and like be away from everyone. You know what I mean?
You want to distract that.
Yeah, I would prefer to feel like I'm kind of in the gym, chat a bit, laugh a bit. Okay, cool, they're calling me. Like I focus, but that I can't.
You'd rather switch it on than.
Yeah. I can't like sit in silence and like get super nervous. And that's where the team is quite nice. Yeah. It's always having support, I think.
So let's talk about team a bit.
Yes.
What does that mean to you? What has it given you? And why does it work for you?
So I think, so we have a massive team now at Bullies. But initially, I think there were about 5 of us. Yeah. If you include Henk and Laura, maybe 7. So, but they've always been like
the girls are too small. You had to count them as 1.
Yeah. Well, with what Rajan lifts, she's more than a half.
Yeah.
And that is also humbling for the men in our gym.
It's
actually.
So cool to see. I know.
As soon as she puts the suits on, she's like literally lifting like the boys. But anyway, I think the team, when it was just like whatever 6 or 7 of us, like I said, we would all be there, like arrive together, be together the whole time. And I think that was really special to get into the sport and like gain a bit of confidence. And like also be there for other people. Like I really enjoy that. Like we can't really do it anymore, but like being in the back and loading the bars and being like the support system. So I think you get to play each role and you go through the emotions of everyone's comp, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those people are still not necessarily in the sport, but like some of them like really good friends, which is so cool. And I think the nice thing about our team is that like Henk is very individual with each athlete. So like for instance, with me, he knows I must put my music in, still chat, still be cool. Where like maybe with someone else, he knows, okay, they must go sit and like focus. So we all treat it still as individuals. Yeah. Like he's got a very intuitive way of coaching. It's not just like a program on the board. So like, how do you feel today? And then like within the team, we'll have like little competitions amongst 2 or 3 of us, or there's obviously like little groups, like there's like a lot of the younger kids or the older kids. Yeah. But yeah, I think the team vibe for me specifically is kind of why I've stuck around. I don't think I would have survived in like another gym that doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not there to win. I'm actually just there to like be a
Hang
part
out,
of
have
something.
fun.
Yeah, and have fun. And the truth is, not everyone's going to be a champion.
Yeah.
So if you don't have something else other than the medal that you're striving for, then what is the point?
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, and I suppose, and for you, the point is like building the family, keeping the family being part of it.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. And I think also just like having that support. You
Yeah.
know, like sometimes you go in and you're like, this feels really shit. Like on Monday, I like squatted and I'm like, this is so cuck. Like I hate this. After comp, everything feels so hard, you know? And then you have everyone go like, well, you know, you don't just come out of comp and like, it's going to be fine,
3 levels,
you know?
You've got to give yourself those 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
So what does the future hold in terms of the sport? And then I want to chat a bit about you and your practice and
Okay.
what you do.
So for now, I'm just focusing on Commonwealth.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I'm like just taking it as it comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, you're not putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
Yeah, and I think like also I've just, like I have had such a cool time, like in my powerlifting career. So I think that's the thing, is like I don't feel like I have to prove anything to myself or to like anyone else. Like I've kind of done it.
Yeah.
So for me, like we were chatting off camera earlier, like I want my squats to be like beautiful and perfect and all in, or like I want like, yeah, all in.
All
I want, you know, I really want to bench, like get like a 75 bench, or it's more like small goals. It's not just about like winning or doing specific comps. And if you focus on the little things, you can do that in the gym or on the platform. Like, doesn't really make a difference to me.
It's like keeping it personal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. Sure. Awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's a very healthy way of looking at the sport.
Yeah, I think
know,
it
where
like
you're not
I think you
stressing.
do go through like a sort of journey,
Yeah.
because when you do start, like like when I went to Worlds, and like the next year it's like, shit, I've been to Worlds, like I need to like maintain the standard, and it is like a lot of pressure that you put on yourself, because no one else really, it's not anyone else's thing.
Yeah.
You put on yourself, and I think you go through like a journey where eventually you get to a point where you're like, why am I actually doing this? And you're doing it actually to have fun. And I think everyone goes through that stage where they think they're doing it for their coach, or like you're letting someone down if you miss your lift. But at the end of the day, like you will miss lifts. You'll have good comps and bad comps. You'll have calls that are for you and against you. So I think the longer you're in it, you get a bit more like chilled about things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes it more fun.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're not having fun, what is the point, actually?
100%. We're not getting paid, so
Yeah, we
you may as
definitely,
well have fun.
we definitely are not getting paid.
Nope, no.
10
no
cents,
payment.
please pay me for
Yeah,
lifting.
yeah. Hi.
Totally available.
Yeah, exactly. Cash is great. You know, EFTs. So I suppose that's, you know, what we're wanting to do with this. I
Yeah.
think if we can grow the viewership on the comps to like 10, 20,000,
Yeah.
which is the goal, that's engaged, committed, involved people. I mean, we're already getting over 1,000 per stream, which is great. Then we get the sponsors that can come to the party, and then that can be used to help.
Well, the
team
sport is
support
definitely
the
getting
team.
bigger, like that's
Yeah.
for sure.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah. So chatting about you.
Yes.
All right.
We've
So
been talking about me the whole time.
yeah, I know. Okay. So Jules, out of powerlifting.
Yes.
So you are a biokineticist.
Yes, I'm a biokineticist.
Captain Payne. Right. Yeah.
And I work in Morningside. So I run a little studio called the Rehab Collective, where there's me and 2 other bios, and we have a respiratory physio. And we just are a little multidisciplinary team, which is really awesome.
Cool.
And then obviously work with a lot of chiros and physios. And the whole thing about being a bio is very similar thought process, is helping people achieve their goals, whether that be coming out of injury or wanting to do a race and, you know, working on their recovery or their stabilizers or their strength. So being in powerlifting, I feel like has helped me be a better bio, because I've gone through the process myself. And that's why, like, I feel like it was almost like a destined to be thing. because I would have never done it.
Right.
And then now that I've been through the journey, I'm like, oh, I see it from a different perspective, and I can be there for athletes in a different way.
That's such a great point. How has, if we can touch on that a bit more, being an athlete enabled you to be a better bio? Because the sense I've gotten is when you go to a bio, a physio, or a chiro who's not an athlete, they just say, don't do anything for the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
You know?
So never tell someone who trains not to train.
Yeah, that's
I learned that
yeah.
very quickly. That's also one way to piss off their coaches, so never do
Yes,
that.
yeah.
But I think injury is a mental process. So you have to almost like meet someone where they're at, because there's fear involved when someone's gone through a traumatic thing. If you like put your back out doing a deadlift, you're going to be scared to do anything. So I've done that. I've put my back out doing a deadlift.
Yeah.
I also had some hip issues, and I've had some shoulder issues. So
I
literally,
put my back out getting dressed. So it's
an age thing.
Yeah, it's an age thing. There's certain value in that. Okay, well, I've got to do this for the next
at least
couple
it wasn't
of
when you
weeks.
sneeze, because that also happens
Yeah,
often.
you tear a couple of intercostals. You
Yes,
know, it's like,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
So I think actually physically going through a sporting process and having my own injuries and having to work through them helped me be a little bit more empathetic and maybe like understand the mindset. But then also training for something, and then like working with people who are training for something, like you also understand like that goal for them and how much it means to them, and you don't just like poo-poo things, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's helped me in that I have a better understanding.
So it's almost where it takes you from, it's about you, the buyer, giving the instruction, to it's actually about the athlete, it's about the client.
So like
and
for
how
me,
do
it's
you
like a
get them
team
to work.
effort.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I always say that to Henk, or like when I've done weightlifting comps with Darren, like it is a team effort. So we're a team.
Yeah.
So we chat about things, we work together, and you are there like to do it yourself and to do the weight yourself, but they've put a lot of time and effort and invested in you, so you're a team. So like for me with that, with, you know, like the people that I work with, and like it is athletes, but it can also be like a geriatric who like wants to, you know, needs to be able to get off the floor if they fall, or like a grandparent who wants to play with their grandkids or something. It's all still a goal that you have to like, this is where I want to be and this is how I need to get there. So how do we do it?
Yeah.
And for me, it is how do we do it? So like, I'm just like that support cheerleader on the side. And then you have to take all the other variables. Okay, how do I do this while you're still training with your coach? So that your coach is happy and you're happy, but we're not pushing you. So I think that is what makes my job enjoyable, because it's like putting the puzzle pieces together and like solving the problems. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's just being like, not like I know more than you, because you actually know your body the best. I'm like here to facilitate and like help you be your best like wherever you are, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know if
awesome.
did I answer your
No,
question?
that was perfect. That's spot on. So you basically work with anyone.
Yeah, so I do a lot of orthopedic rehab. So that's basically joints and stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit of neuro.
So like post-surgery.
Yeah, post-surgery.
Okay.
We actually like these days doing a lot of prehab, which is really
Okay.
cool. So like before someone goes for something like strengthening, like a lot of like chronic
awesome.
things, you know, like general backache or neck ache. But yeah, I work with athletes or geriatrics or kids. And then have another bio who also loves working with kids. And then we have another bio who loves pre and postnatal. So that's what's nice about our centers, that we all have like sort of different focuses. So we can like kind of help everyone, if that makes sense.
It does.
But yeah, I think it's literally like everyone will come in with a, like why are you here? What do you want to get out of it? And we just have to make that happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So I know we're under a little bit of time pressure. It's like 5-2.
I don't even know.
So watching. See, it's a sign of a good interview.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now I'm like totally into it. I don't want to stop talking.
Yay! Have you had fun?
Coffee. No, joking.
Manuel? Like, no, Manuel's shy. He's not coming onto camera. Is there anything you want to touch on before we finish? And you know, we welcome to come back for another chat.
Yeah.
There's more to touch on.
Well, now that I did it once, I'll just come back all the time.
Excellent. Good. Cool.
No, I think that's all.
Okay.
But like, what do you call a male ladybug?
Bob.
Speechless.
Oh.
You speechless.
Yes. Okay.
I think it's a manly bug.
A manly bug.
Yeah. But actually, they're not gender specific, so they're just called ladybugs.
Ladybugs, yeah. Well, they identify.
So that was for my bullies
Okay,
team,
yes.
because I had to say manly bug on this interview.
Did you have to say manly bug? Okay, listen.
And that is the benefit of having team,
Yes.
right? Because
Yep.
they make you do stupid things,
They
but then
make
we
you
laugh.
So was this like discussed on a WhatsApp group kind of thing?
I literally, as I walked in, got a message
Yeah,
like,
right.
remember, man bug.
Ladybug, man bug.
So,
Okay.
so most of the time when you ask that question, someone says ladybug, man bug.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going off on a tangent,
Okay,
but I
that's
just had
fine.
to say it.
Thank you. So, but it goes show team.
Yes.
And I think,
Yeah.
you know, we've with especially for the younger people, but I think in South Africa is quite unique. So, you know, you get a lot of older people that are left behind when youngsters leave. They go overseas for work opportunities. The youngsters have come through COVID, where they've spent I've spoken at a couple of schools, and I've to see how hammered the kids are, because they've had a large portion of their developmental time looking at a screen and not being able to connect physically. And I think there is a touch element as well with, you know, you put your arm around your friend, you push them, you have fun with that. And I think powerlifting is such a community-based sport.
Yeah.
And whether it's the Bullies team or just anyone that's there, we're all cheering for one another. And you want everyone to be as strong as possible so you can be as strong as possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Mentally and physically.
Mentally and physically. I just think everybody should get involved in this, whether you're 70 years old, whether you're 80 years old.
Yeah. And I think like even
12,
if it's not powerlifting, just
the gym.
any sort of strength training is amazing for any human. Like for your bone density, for, you know, exactly what I said, an old person who falls needs to like physically push themselves up. So like, you know, when you're 70 years old and you like literally get off a toilet, that is a squat.
That's a
So
squat,
I think that's something that people neglect until they're a lot older.
Well, it is a lighter squat than when went down in the...
Just depends.
You
It's
see
not past
powerlifters-
parallel.
Powerlifters sitting on the loo, looking for the hand. Rack. Okay, there we go.
But yeah, so I just think, I think our bodies are amazing, and if you put effort into them, they give back.
More than you put in.
100%.
So an hour's training gives you 23 hours of reward.
Yeah.
You know, that's the crazy thing with the gym.
And it is the cheapest therapy. That's the truth. I mean, you take a lot of people who have been through a lot, and they can come in here and just feel happy, you know?
Like, I mean, it's like I look at Doc, not that he's been through a lot, and he trained for 3 years. 3 years just to make the qualifying standard.
Are you talking about
Yaniv?
Yaniv? Yeah. I actually
3
heard that.
years,
Well done, Yaniv.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
3 years
And he did so well
to
at
qualify
essays.
for essays, and he won.
And this is the thing about the journey and not giving up too soon, because
yeah.
that is literally life. Like
that's
nothing
life.
happens tomorrow. You have to like put the effort in, and then you know, like really like go through all the things that come with it.
Yeah.
And then you're rewarded.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Well done. I heard
He
that.
probably is,
Yeah.
And his hair looked fantastic.
Is he a man bug?
He's a man bug.
He's a man bug.
Oh, no, with his hair, he's a ladybug. He's very pedantic on it. No, like, we can chat about him quickly, like just that sometimes he comes in 15 minutes late for training because he forgot and he got carried away and had a 20-minute shower. You know, that's the kind of stuff. So it's fine. It's also his happy place.
But the truth is, the reason why I know Yaniv, like he was my patient very briefly.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, rotator cuff, shoulder.
The left
and that,
is still a disaster.
yeah. Okay. You need to come back.
Yes, Yaniv.
But that was 2 years ago. So, and this is the thing, is like a lot of people get injured and then just stop everything and never do anything again, where like we worked through it a bit, he could come train, and now 3 years later, he's at essays, which was a goal 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So you can literally achieve anything if you just put your mind to it.
And just do that consistency.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Yeah.
Jules, thank you for your time.
Thank you
That
for
was
having
epic.
me. Thank you for my coffee.
It was good. Was it good coffee?
Cool. It was very good.
Excellent.
It was very good.
Sorry we didn't have milk. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Running down
you
to
know for
Woolies, it
next
was
time.
cardio.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Cool. Can we shut it down?
Cool.
It was fun, all right?
Yes.
Groovy. And you said ladybug.
Man bug.
Man bug.
Man bug.
Man
Many
bug.
times.
Hey? Oh, geez, I haven't recorded yet. No, I'm just kidding.